800.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I pray that everyone is doing well and having a good time so far. And it is definitely an honor to be before you today. To the faculty and staff at Bevel, to the faculty and staff at Fayette County High School, I would like to thank you for inviting me out to be here for this honored occasion. It is a privilege to stand before you today, and I just want to thank each and every veteran that is in this room. Each one of you has paved the way for the next generation, and you did so with selfless dedication, not only to your country, but to your fellow man. So I thank you for being who you are and answering the call of this great nation. As you noticed on your program, there's a brief history of Veterans Day. But I want to share some highlights in it that we may or may not necessarily know about this hallowed day to honor those that have served in our United States Armed Services. Again, Veterans Day originated as Armistice Day on November 11, 1919, the first anniversary at the end of World War I, when at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the fighting ended between the Allied forces in Germany with the signing of an armistice. An armistice is an agreement made by opposing sides in a war to stop fighting at a certain time or a truce. Congress passed a resolution in 1926 for an annual observance, and November 11th became a national holiday beginning in 1938. One thing that a lot of people don't know about Veterans Day, it was first observed right here in the great state of Alabama. The first celebration using the term Veterans Day occurred in Birmingham in 1947. Raymond Weeks, a World War I Navy veteran, organized National Veterans Day, which included a parade and other festivities to honor all veterans. The event was held November 11th, then designated Armistice Day. For 8 years, Raymond Weeks continued to petition the military and Congress to change the designation of Armistice Day to a National Veterans Day to remember veterans of all wars, both of those who were deceased as well as those living who had served in one of the branches of each military. Later, U.S. Representative Edward Reese of Kansas proposed a bill that would change Armistice Day to Veterans Day in 1954. Congress passed that bill, then President Eisenhower signed it, proclaiming November 11th as Veterans Day. What is a veteran? It should be pointed out that Veterans Day celebrates the service of all U.S. military servicemen and women. It differs from Memorial Day, which honors those servicemen and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. It's also separate from Armed Forces Day, which honors those that are currently serving on active duty. Currently, right now in this nation, less than 0.5% serve in the active duty military service, and only 7% are categorized or classified as veterans. Therefore, it is important to honor those that commit to serving the country by serving through selfless dedication to their fellow men. This is a call that not everyone can answer and a challenge that even few people accept. For every liberty that we have as American citizens, we must remember that someone fought for us to be able to exercise that right. Freedom is definitely not free. So with that being said, I would like to tell each and every one of us that are in this room, we have to give it a little gas. And when I use the term gas, it is an acronym. The word gas is going to stand for goals, having the right attitude, and setting standards. Now I'm certain each and every last one of us before we came here today got in our vehicle, put on our seatbelt, and one of the first things we did before or right after we started our vehicle was we checked the gas hand to see if we had enough gas to make it here, right? Because if you don't have enough gas, you won't make it anywhere in life. And I'm certain on our way here, a lot of us drove past some gas stations because we thought we could have enough just to make it back, or we thought there was some cheaper gas that a little bit further down the road. But we we must realize that none of us can go forward without gas. And as you look at the gear shift on your car, I want to use this analogy for each one of us as a pointed reference for life. Before you're even able to put your car into drive, there are several gears that you have to go through. The first gear that you're going to look at is the gear of park. All of us in our lives start out in park. We have to make the decision to move forward. Each of you that are here have made that decision. It is a choice that we make each and every day, whether we realize it or not. Getting out of park is one of the hardest steps that will face everyone that is in here underneath the sound of my voice. For those here that are in high school, you have the vehicle to move forward. It is your challenge each day to motivate yourself, to find a reason to be dedicated to your studies, to your craft, so you can be better men and women, not only for yourselves, but for your family and for the legacy that you will leave behind. The next gear that you will look at is reverse. Too many times in life, a lot of people spend it going backwards. But as veterans, we realize that we all must go forward. As individuals, as children of God, we must move forward in life. The saying is, it's a reason that your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror. That way you can look forward more than you look back. Life is about progression. Our very existence exemplifies progression and moving forward at every stage. Everyone in this room started out as something else. None of you came into this room walking and talking as a child, but you had to go through developmental stages in life. We started out as children, and then we became toddlers. From toddlers to teenagers, from teenagers to adults, from adults to senior citizens. Life is about progression. It is not about moving backwards. We all have to move forward, but in order to move forward, you have to go through reverse. And in order to do that, you have to still give it a little gas. Now, for those of us in here that are old enough to remember carburetors, by show of hands, who can remember what a carburetor is? That's the thing that a lot of people with cars that have fuel injection today probably don't even know about. But when you got into a car on a cold morning, you had to pack the gas to make sure you had enough fuel flowing through it in order for your vehicle to start. And then you just didn't throw it in gear. You had to let it sit and warm up a little while before you took off and go complete your task for that day. But the car had to sit in idle. And a lot of times when cars sit in idle, you may have them in park, or they may be in neutral. Neutral is the gear where no movement or no progression occurs, but everything is operating. The headlights are on, the engine is running, you may even have some music playing, but you're not moving forward. There's no progression and no results have been accomplished while you're in neutral. You have to move forward. To make sure that your engine is running, you still have to give it some gas. Sometimes in life we may feel like we can't get started or that we're stuck in park. Sometimes we may feel like we're going backwards and not getting ahead and we're going in reverse. And sometimes we may feel like because of all the challenges that we face, we're not moving forward at all and we're stuck in neutral. But I want to encourage each and every one of you here that you must go through these challenges. Jesus told us in his text in Matthew, he said, in this world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. With those words, we realize that we must go forward, and because we have a place or a destination, we have to put it in drive. Drive is the gear that we all use to go forward. We put our vehicle in drive when we know what we're doing, where we're going, what it takes to get there, and how long it's going to take to come back. Once we completed these transitions, it's one thing that each and every one of us are going to do once we start driving to reach our destination. We're still going to check our gas in. I would tell every sailor and Marine and airman and guardsman that I work with or that I had the honor to serve with that we have to fill our tank each and every day. It is not an option. It is not up for debate. It is not up for negotiation. I would tell them that if you go out and you have a good time, that's okay. But you have to be responsible. And for those that weren't able to make it to formation on time, I will give them numerous sayings, but the one that they particularly enjoyed was, if you're going to hoop with the Owls, you better be ready to soar with the Eagles. That means no matter what you do, you have to be ready to answer the call. Life does not afford us the opportunity to make excuses or pass the blame or the buck to someone else. One of the other expressions that I would use to tell my sailors at formation in the morning, when they would complain about the task that they would be assigned for that day, I would tell them, I don't want to hear about the labor pains, just show me the baby. With that being said is, we don't have time to complain about the honor that's been placed upon us to serve our country and our fellow man. We have to go forward. We have to give it some gas. Now, the gas that I would use, or the acronym that I would use to my sailors, is a little bit more colorful than what I'm going to share with you this evening. But if you use your imagination, I'm sure you can fill in the G, the A, and the S. Understand that the gas that we may use, you may use regular gas. That's 87 octane. And what I would tell my sailors each and every time is, you can do just enough to get by using regular gas. But when you do that, you're not going to achieve optimal results. Or they could use 89 gas. Now I'll tell them with that, that's the mid-grade. You're doing just enough to get by, but you're not going to excel. Or you can use 91, and that is the premium gas. And when you use premium gas, it's going to impact every area that you touch. It's going to impact your mileage. It's going to impact the wear and tear of the life of your car and other components. When you use premium gas, you get premium results. You move forward with greater speed and more efficiency. It is up to each and every last one of us to choose which type of gas that we would use to move forward in life. And as veterans, we all chose premium. Whichever gas you use is up to you, but one thing that we can all agree with in here, we don't want to get bad gas. Bad gas will tear up your engine and can also take you off track, and it can stop you from moving forward at all in life. Bad gas will cause you to break down on your journey, and you may never reach your destination. So I would like to leave you with this acronym for gas. The G stands for your goals. Make sure that you set your goals. You have to know where you want to go in life, and you have to have a plan to get there. A goal without a plan is just a wish. If you don't know where you're going in life, you'll probably end up somewhere else. We have to have a true north when we use our navigational compass when we're setting goals. Always strive for excellence, and do so by using the right attitude. Your attitude determines the altitude that you can reach in this life. Spaceships have rocket boosters that help them achieve their destination at a certain altitude. And after they reach a certain altitude, those booster rockets can fall off. I want you to understand and know that everyone is not meant to go with you on your journey. Some people are only there to help you maintain or achieve a certain altitude, and then they will fall by the wayside. It is up to you to keep reaching higher heights each and every day. That is the challenge for each and every young adult and adult in this room. Have the right attitude. Reach your destination. Reach higher altitudes each and every day. And then the S is going to stand for standards. The mistake that you walk past becomes the new standard that you set. You have to make sure that the standard that you have is never compromised. Never go down to someone else's standard. Always bring them up to yours. Veterans have secured the gas stations in life that each and every one of us will use in order to move forward. The administrators and faculty at our colleges and our high schools, they are providing the gas for each and every young mind that is in this room and that will ever enter into a classroom. I challenge each and every student here today, whether you're in high school or whether you're in college, to fill up your tank. Use the premium gas in order to reach the right altitude so you can make the right choice in setting your goals. Don't get stuck in park. Don't go backwards. Don't get stuck in reverse. You have to get out of neutral and put it in drive so you can move forward. You have to give it some gas. I will leave you with these words from the Apostle Paul, which he gave and wrote to the church in Philippi, in Philippians, the 3rd chapter, verses 13 and 14. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth to those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. In other words, Paul was telling each and every last one of us as servants of Christ, we have to give it some gas. We have to move forward. We can't complain about life. We have to accept the trials and circumstances that come our way, knowing that Jesus has already overcome the world. And because he has overcome, we can overcome as well. Thank you, and I appreciate you for having me here this evening. God bless you.